Namaste, yogis. My name is Nin. Welcome to Nin Yoga. Today's class is called Yoga for Energy, and the class is designed for those of you who may experience an afternoon slump. You've been sat at your desk, hunching forward, stressed, and you just can't find the energy inside you. You're feeling a bit sleepy. Instead of having a nap, I suggest you try this. Or if you get up in the morning and you're just feeling a bit tired, maybe groggy, this class is designed to get the circulation going again and just wake you up inside. The class is going to be an alignment class, so we're going to focus mainly on the poses as opposed to doing a fast vinyasa, flowy type class. There will be a few back bends designed for those of you who've been hunched forward maybe all day. So if you like, I would recommend you have a block or two maybe to support you in some of the later poses that we come into that go deep into the back. So with that said, let us begin. I'd like you to come in to easy pose. So crossing your legs, one leg in front of the other. And just here, check in your alignment, straighten your spine. Is your heart above your hips? Is your head above your heart? And just visualize a piece of string pulling you up towards the ceiling or the sky. Take a deep breath in and out. Just putting aside any to-do lists. Take a deep breath in and breathe out the tension. Then just begin to circle around, maybe from right to left. Then right, round back to left, go the other way round. And from here, bringing your palms up to the sky, palms facing one another, stretch out your fingers and then lean back slightly, bringing your palms back over your head. And just do a counter pose to perhaps hunching forward all day. So open up your chest, curve your spine slightly, lifting your chin up and bringing your hands back over your head. And just stay here for 5 breaths. Maybe bringing yourself back for the final breath. Back down to a seated pose. Then bringing your right hand down to the mat, lifting your left arm over your head. So finding that lovely stretch up the side of your body. Give yourself some space there. Make sure that your shoulders don't drop forward, lifting them up. Inhale, bringing the left hand now down to the side of the left and lifting up your right arm over your head. And again, just feeling a nice stretch over the side of your body. Come back to center, and now we're going to come into a tabletop pose. Here, have your hands under your shoulders, your spine in a neutral position. Then just arching the spine, coming to cat position. Check your knees are underneath your hips. Then exhale, bringing your belly down to the mat, bringing your tailbone up and opening up the chest, bringing your shoulders together and lifting up your chin. Take that one more time. Arch the spine, bring the tailbone in, let the head hang. Exhale, stomach down to the mat. Lift the tailbone up, open up the chest. And a lot of the poses we're going to do throughout this class will be about opening the heart and the chest. Beautiful. Come back to neutral. Now we're going to take a step forward. Firstly with our right foot in between the palms of our hands, and if you just need to pull it forward, just check your alignment here. Is your right foot in between your palms? Is your knee above your right ankle? Do you feel you're stretching down in your pelvis? Is the knee supported? And you might want to bring a towel underneath your knee if you have any knee support issues. Inhale, and I slowly want you to lift up your torso so that it's straight above your pelvis. And then bringing your index finger and thumb together, like so. Interlace the rest of your fingers and lift up with your fingers above your head, and just take a slight tilt back with your palms going over your head and bending your back slightly, giving that extra oomph to the stretch. Pressing down through your hips, then your thighs, and looking up, lifting up your chin. Pressing down through your hips and thighs, opening up your pelvis, just checking in with yourself as your spine arched. Take another 3 breaths here. Exhale, come back down to the mat, palms beside your foot, and then bringing your right knee to meet your left. So just here, take your time, center yourself, take a few cat-cows again. Arch the spine, bring the tailbone in, let your head hang. Exhale, opening up the chest, lifting the tailbone, bringing the belly down to the mat, and looking up to the sky. And then come back to neutral, checking in your position. Do you feel supported on the mat? Check that your palms reach down through the roots of the earth. Check your knees are hip width apart and underneath your hips. And we're going to step out this time with our left foot. So again, if you need to just bring it around. There you go. And check that you're aligned here correctly. Is your left foot in between your palms? Do your hips feel stretched and open? And again, use a towel if under your right knee you feel a bit of a stretch here. Checking in again, making sure that your knee isn't in front of your ankle. Then when you've got that stability, inhale and bringing your torso up above your pelvis. Lifting up now with your palms above your head. And again, what I'd like you to do is interlace the hands, but keep your index finger and thumb pointing upwards. And look over, lifting up your chest, and begin to arch your spine back, bringing your hands over your head towards the mat. Inhale for 3 breaths here, pressing down, letting gravity do the work for you. Beautiful. Bringing the palms down to the mat next to your left foot, and come back into tabletop pose. Just do a few circles here, just making sure that you get the blood flowing to the spine. Maybe the other way. And then come back into tabletop, and I'd like you to push forward with your chest, straightening up your legs, and come down to the mat, onto your stomach, chin and chest. And we're going to take a cobra pose here. So just check in at this stage that your legs are straight, almost zipped up, are your shoulder blades coming towards each other. Bend your elbows and have your palms flat on the mat. And then begin to peel up and push down with your palms into the mat, coming up into a low cobra, and then pushing up into a full cobra. So here, make sure with a full cobra, you still retain a micro bend in your elbows. Don't lock yourself into it. Keep the micro bend there. Open up your chest, bring your shoulder blades together, bring your shoulders away from your ears, lift your chin up, pressing down into your thighs and your feet, pressing down, particularly with your feet to the mat. Just take 3 breaths here. Feel that stretch in your lower back. It's really good for you. I love this pose after a day of work. Exhale, come down to the mat, then lying flat on the mat, bringing your palms next to your hips here. Keeping your toes touching, your legs straight. Just opening up your palms. And then we're going to take a pose called locust pose. Now here, start to peel up your chest and then bringing your hands off the mat and begin to reach back towards your feet. And then slowly bend your feet upwards, but don't bend them to a full 90 degrees, maybe 45 degrees off the mat, so that you're just lifting. You've lifted your shins completely off the mat and you're beginning to peel your thighs off the mat. Point out with your feet and begin to reach your palms back towards your feet, bringing your shoulder blades together. And this is on the first poses where we begin to put power and energy into our backs again. Keep looking up to the sky. Are your shoulders going back, reaching back with your hands? Beautiful. Just take 2 more breaths here. Feel that energy beginning to burn through you. Exhale, come back down to the mat. And just take a moment there and feel the difference. Bring your palms down to the mat now, just beside your breastbone. Bend your elbows and lift up into a mini cobra. So here we're just peeling our chest off the mat, have our toes touching, look up to the sky. Take a couple of breaths here. And then we're going to push up into a full cobra. We're going to take a pose called upward facing dog. Now often this is mistaken for the full cobra, but it's actually not the same. What I'd want you to do, keeping your palms underneath your shoulders, keep that micro bend in your elbows, looking up to the sky, opening up your chest, bringing your shoulders away from the ears, and then begin to push down into your feet and lift your legs up off the mat. Upward facing dog. Much more that you feel the burn. And if you find that too much, just come down into full cobra again. So lift into upward facing dog and then come into downward facing dog. So bringing your seat up to the sky, begin to pedal out your feet here. And you should form an upside down V here. Just maybe move your hips from side to side here, swaying, pedaling out the calves. And don't worry if your heels don't come completely down to the mat. That's absolutely fine. Let your head hang down neutrally towards the ground. Press the palms into the mat. Checking in, are your biceps parallel to the ears? Bring the seat up to the sky. Bring your chest in towards your thighs. And just pedal out here. Take another 3 breaths. And then hop or walk in between the gates of your palms, the front of the mat, and take a forward fold here. Just having your hands down onto the mat. Maybe clasp your elbows here. Sway from side to side if you like, feeling that stretch in the hamstrings and the calves. Then slowly let the palms go down to the earth, and vertebra by vertebra, and slowly and with control I'd like you to come up into a mountain pose. So standing fully up on your mat. Now this is really important here, so you just find your center. So make sure the blood has come to the head. Make sure your feet are hip width apart. If you like, bringing your big toes in to touch each other and keeping the heels out, hip width apart. Engage your glutes here. This is an active pose. Despite appearances, you should be engaging your core and abdomen, and just tilt in your abdomen and your tailbone to get that straight effect. Engage your core. Palms out beside you, parallel to the hips, stretching your fingers. Then we're going to take it up and check in with the upper body. Is your heart above your pelvis? Are your shoulders away from the ears? And begin to raise your chin up and look up towards the sky. Take a deep breath here. We're going to stay here for 5 breaths, remembering all I said about this being an active pose and engaging your glutes and core. Then we're going to take another one of our back bends. So bringing your index finger and thumb together, interlace the hands, bringing your hands above your head, and begin to tilt back, bringing your hands over your head towards the mat. Bring your elbows towards, parallel to your ears, and look up and arch the spine. You should feel the energy coming in here. Wonderful, really good. That should hopefully add an extra bit of energy to that pose and have warmed you up. Taking an inhale, bringing the palms down to the parallel to the hips. Taking an inhale, hands up to the sky. Exhale now, come down, bending into forward fold, bringing your hands down to the earth. And we'll take a sun salutation here, just to get the blood moving. Inhale, hands halfway up onto the thighs or the shins, straight back, tabletop. Not tabletop pose, as though you are carrying drinks on a tabletop. Exhale, down to the mat. Check your palms are stabilizing you here. And then walk back into a plank pose. Bring your bum down and you should have a straight line here. Pressing down into the earth, pressing the earth away from you, then lowering down, bending your elbows into your ribs. Then bring your stomach, chest and chin down to the mat. Inhale, bringing yourself into full cobra, making sure your elbows are bent. Bringing your toes together. Pressing down, engaging the glutes. Look up to the sky, shoulders away from the ears, lifting up the chin. And you can come here again into upward facing dog if that's available to you today. So pushing down into your palms, lifting your legs off the mat. Exhale into downward facing dog. Lifting your seat up to the sky. And then checking in. Are your feet hip width apart? Pedaling out here, let your head hang down to the mat.
pressing down into the earth as though you're in a V shape. But try to bring the chest in towards the thighs. Pressing down through the heels and lifting up with the seat. Biceps parallel to the ears. Here, checking that the blood's coming down. Then hop or walk to the front of your mat. And we'll come down onto the mat. And you can either sit down into full saddle pose or just come with your knees up towards your chest. What I want you to do here is just begin to move your body in whatever way feels intuitive, just to counteract the stretch we did just now with our back. So if you've got your legs straight, maybe you'll do some circles. If you've got your knees bent and your soles of your feet on the mat, just moving your knees from side to side here in a windscreen wiper type motion. Then we're going to come into another of our back bend poses. This pose is a really good stretch for the chest, opening up the chest and the heart, the throat, and making sure that the back bends in a way that is often really not something we do every day. It's probably quite a counter pose to if you're hunched forward like this at your desk all day. It's a pose called fish pose. So straighten out your legs onto the mat. And then bringing the forearms just underneath your shoulder blades and putting the palms of your hands, just trying to tuck them in towards your glutes. Bring the shoulder blades together here. And what we're going to do next is lifting our chest off the mat, bringing the shoulder blades together. We're going to tip our head over towards the mat in a pose called fish pose. And we're going to stay here for 3 to 5 breaths. Slowly push down with your forearms and begin to lift your head up. Just slowly take this in a controlled way because your head has been facing in completely the opposite direction. And then come down onto the mat. We're going to stay here just momentarily in a Shavasana corpse pose. Bring the soles of your feet to the mat. Then let the knees drop out towards the right hand side. Bringing your hands into a T-like position, or if there's not enough room, a cactus type position. And look over your left shoulder. Feeling that twist in your spine. Keeping it active. Bringing the knees up to center and then let them drop down towards the left hand side and look over towards your right. Bringing the knees up to the center. Bringing the knees into the chest. And we're just going to start by rolling our spine and our knees. And we're going to come up into a full seated position. The next pose we're going to do is a pose called a bow pose. This time, I'd like you to come down onto the mat so that you're fully in the pose we call crocodile pose, So your stomach and chest are on the mat. And your legs are zipped up, toes touching. And similar to what we did in locust pose, bringing the palms so that they're in line with the hips. Just take a breath here, because we're going to activate the back again. So here, begin to push down with your palms into the mat and peel your back and your chest off the mat, lifting your chin upwards. And then bending your knees to a 90-degree angle, grabbing hold of your feet on the pinky side of your feet. So this might be enough, but if you like, lifting up with your chest even further and lifting your thighs off the mat and trying to push up with your feet to the sky or the ceiling and your hands. Take 3 breaths here. Exhale, beautiful. Come down to the mat. Push up into Cobra, micro bending the elbows as ever, checking that your palms are underneath your shoulders, lifting your chest up. Then pushing back into a child's pose. Forehead on the mat, webbing your hands. Toes touching. Knees apart if you'd like. Just take 3 breaths here. And then coming up into our hero pose, or just kneeling for those of you who might not be familiar with the yoga lingo. From here, we're going to take a pose that we call camel pose. Now, this is the final of our big back stretches. So have some blocks nearby, because this is quite a deep stretch. I'm going to have 2 blocks either side of me on the mat. Sit here in hero pose or kneeling pose, and then lifting up. So here, having your knees hip width apart, straightening up your spine, opening up your chest, putting your hands here, just on the lower back near your waist. Then opening up the chest. It's another one of those chest opening poses. Bring the shoulder blades together and look up to the sky. And you can open up as much as you like here and begin to push your pelvis forward. So this might be enough for you today, but if you want to take it a little bit further, or it's available, maybe bringing down blocks next to your calves, have them at whatever angle suits you. And from this pose, having our hands on our waist, just reach down to the blocks and bring them back slightly, opening up your chest to the sky here. And you can take whatever angle suits you. So this might suit you, or you might be able to go lower. Bring the blocks down and open up your chest and look to the sky. Or another option is, if it's available, put the blocks to one side and bringing your palms down to your heels. So opening up your chest, and slowly does it. Bring your hands down to your ankles and look up. Take 3 breaths here. Slowly, from whatever angle you're in, just coming up. Slowly does it. You should feel the energy having begun to work, especially in your thighs here. Put your hands on your hips if they're not on there already. And just take a breath here. Before we come down into our kneeling pose again. And we'll take here, a final resting pose, which is called child's pose. We'll take an extended child's pose, so bringing the knees out to the side of the mat and begin to walk forward with your hands, bringing your forehead down to the mat, checking in if your feet are touching, bringing out your palms and your forearms as much as you can, pressing with your seat back in towards your heels. Let gravity do the work and just breathe out, forgetting any negative thoughts. Just focus yourself on this time on the mat, letting go of any stress points or ideas which bring us anxiety and tension. Just breathing in and breathing out those thoughts. And we'll take another 3 breaths here, letting our body sinking into the ground. Slowly begin to return to the mat and opening up your eyes. Maybe begin to sway from side to side. And pushing up slowly does it because you've been down in this position for a reasonable amount of time. Come into kneeling pose and face the front of the mat. Thank you so much for joining me for that practice today. I hope you feel energized and ready to face the rest of the afternoon or the whole day. If you like what you saw, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and there's plenty more of these types of sequences, especially for office workers or just to bring you energy throughout the day. And leave a comment, let me know how you got on. I really hope to hear from you soon. Put your hands on your heart and we'll bow and say Namaste. Namaste, yogis.